Welcome, everybody. It is Brad Show Live. It is Thursday, June 18th, and we are a bit late today, but I guess better late than never. Let me say hello to the squad. That's what we do here every day when I start the show. I can't start a show until I start saying hello to all the beautiful people of the Brad Squad, starting off on YouTube today with Rupan Thakador saying, "Hi, Brad, how are you?" Carol Anderson, the Tiger 2. I'm sorry, I got Carol wrong's name. I got Carol's name wrong. Carol, the Top Cat Tigers 2 Anderson. My apologies. That is a mouthful, Carol, but I should know it. I say it every day. Says, "Hi, Brad, Hun, squad up." Dion Journey, how are you? Jessica Leamy, Joelle. By the way, Jessica Leamy was saying yesterday on Brad Show Live, she can't wait for us to get back into the studio because then we can take the telephone calls and not just read off of social media. And she says she loves when people call and say, "I'm calling for a friend," when everybody knows they ain't calling for a friend, they're calling for themselves. Well, we are getting set up in our studio in a week from Monday. What is that date? I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it is a week from this upcoming Monday. So if today's the 18th, Friday is the 19th, Saturday and Sunday is the 21st, June 29th, Monday, June 29th, a week from this Monday, we're going to be back in our studios. I'm going to be back with Nesquik. I'm going to be back with Yo-Yo. I'm going to be back with the entire crew, and we're going to go and have our regular, starting on Monday, June 29th, our regular Brad Show Live starting at 5:30, 2 hours every day until I need a break. But we're going to keep doing it until I need a break. In the meantime, let me keep saying hello to the squad on YouTube. Charlotte Muzzo, or Muzzo, squad up. Mad Carla Ramakrishna. Hi, Brad. And Alicia Henry, squad up. Maria Joe, how are you? Elizabeth Daly. Jeremy Goldberg, J Rhymes, part of the crew, J Rhymes. And I think he has a new poem for Thursday. Hey, hey, what's that sound? Is that the best immigration lawyer around? It's Brad Bernstein. He's in town. Best show ever. Give him the crowd. Way to go, J Rhymes, for poetry. Thursday, Better Life Records, squad up. Olaji Muhammad, squad up as well. Kirk Brown and Jody Ann Samuels rounding out the first members of the squad, saying hello on YouTube. Let's see what's going on Facebook. Marge Higgs, Elizabeth Darby, Marge Higgs saying, "Hey, hey, Marge." Nana Abba, also with a hey. Is that maybe our new thing now? Everybody saying hey to each other? Are we done with squad up? I don't know. Violet Blackwood, squad up. I guess not. Deanna Watson, squad up. Jewel Delph, good afternoon. Uncle Brad, Javelle Finnegan. Hey, what's going on, Javelle? Squad up, he's saying as well. Jessica Leamy, double fisting. Cordella Douglas, my dear love Cordella, I hope you're feeling better. I know you have not been well lately, but hopefully you are feeling better, and we send all our love and prayers for you. Latana Sani, squad up. Sweet Ex Theorist, saying, "Hey, Uncle Brad, I keep missing my favorite show because of work." Well, you're here today. You are here today, Sweet Ex. Denisha Joseph, what's going on? Tigo Goddess. Mintu Saab saying hello. Myrtle Ray, I think I said Joyce Henry. Christy Kinsali, Dion Reed. And let's see, Denisha Joseph said, "I thought the show was never going to start." You know what, Denisha? Me too. We're sitting around saying, "When is the show going to start?" And Julie goes, "Never." I go, "Serious?" She goes, "No, only kidding, but very soon." Stargirl Mika, big up. Brad Bernstein, Mintu Saab with a question. Hello, sir. Just a question. I have the I-360. It's pending the last 27 months. And I used to be a DACA recipient. And by the way, congratulations. We're going to talk about it in the schmooze. But congratulations to all the DACA recipients. The Supreme Court came down in your favor, and the program is going to continue. And what we say to Donald Trump, we'd like to give him the finger. But since we have class on Brad Show Live, we'll just do this to Donald Trump. Meanwhile, hello, sir. Just a question. Mintu Saab says, I have an I-360. It's pending the past 27 months, and I used to be a DACA recipient. I never renewed my DACA because I filed the I-360. I just watched your video about DACA. Is my I-360 gets declined, can I still file to renew the DACA? Absolutely. You will. You will, especially now that the Supreme Court has extended DACA indefinitely. Young Money Rogers saying, good afternoon, sir. I want to ask you a question about the USCIS. All right, I guess I'm doing some pre-schmooze questions. I didn't notice that the post online on May 29, 2020, your inquiry about a request for evidence that you did not receive referral number, blah, 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 was completed. So what do they mean they're going to send it to me back? Young Money Rogers with a confusing question. Let's try to decipher one last time. Good afternoon, sir. I want to ask you a question about the USCIS. I didn't notice that they post online on May 29th, 2020 that your inquiry about a request for evidence that you did not receive referral number was completed. So what that mean? They're going to send it to me back? Yeah, I guess that means that they should send you a new notice if you didn't get the original RFE. I guess what happened is that an RFE was mailed out to you. You didn't receive it. So you made an inquiry online and they said that it's completed. So I guess completed means you got to assume that they're mailing it out to you. So let's see what happens in the next 5 to 7 days. Hopefully you get it. If not, give me a call. And by the way, that telephone number to call me is right below. You see it scrolling there. It says call Brad for a consultation at 1-800-529-5465. Internationally, if you happen to be international, but I don't think Young Money is, but if you are, it's 1-212-227-8933. Sheila Lavelle Collier, also with a question, pre-schmooze question. Hi, Brad. How can I contact USCIS if my friend filed the adjustment of status and has not received a notice over a month and a half now? You write them a letter and say, hey, this is my case number. And it's not you contacting them. It would be your friend contacting them and saying, please confirm that there's an application. Here's copies of everything I submitted. Also, you can check. The best thing you can do is check, and I say this all the time, see if your filing fee check or money order was cashed. If the filing fee check or money order was cashed, on that check or money order, they write what the case number is. Now you have your case number, and you can follow up that way as well. Carol Anderson, the Tiger. Brad is going to be back. My favorite show is on. That's right. A week from Monday, Brad Show Live. No more pop-up pandemic edition. No more quarantine edition. No more Brad in his dining room. We're going back into studio, and we're getting the whole crew together. So wait till Monday, June 27th. I hope I'm giving the right day. It's Monday, definitely. A week from Monday. I think that's June 27th. And Sherry Bushy Forster says, Uncle Brad, I have never watched the studio version of your magnificent program. Squad Up Team. Sherry, the pandemic edition is nothing compared to the studio edition. All right, because this is just about a little information on what's going on in the world and me answering the social media questions. But when we get back into studio, we're about reaching the American dream. We're about equality. We're about showing all the diversity in America. We have the two most amazing co-hosts that are going to be joining me that have been on with me for a long time, Yo-Yo and Nesquik. Go back and watch some of the old shows. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I think I will, because we won Best Live Video Series in the entire world by Synopsis this year. We beat out some very heady competition, like famous, production companies like NBC, World Wrestling Federation. So we were in some pretty good company, and we beat them all out. So wait till we get back. Just wait. Michelle Favored Copeland says, howdy, Uncle Brad, also with a pre-schmooze question. Says, howdy, Uncle Brad. Michelle Favored Copeland is a cowgirl, maybe. You living on a ranch somewhere? Howdy. Me and the kids are on my husband's insurance, and I'm on his bank account. I'm also the beneficiary on his work insurance. We had a good-sized wedding with pics. Do you think I need more evidence? Well, let me put it to you this way. That's all great evidence. All great evidence. There is never enough evidence. Okay. The only answer is, if you have more evidence, If you have the ability to get more evidence, you get it. There is no such thing as that's enough evidence. If you have enough evidence to back up a truck to immigration with evidence that you and your spouse are in a bona fide marriage, you go rent that U-Haul and you back up the truck. I mean, literally. I mean, you're not going to back up a truck to immigration. You know, Department of Homeland Security won't let you do that. So I'm being a little facetious when I say that. But you want to get as much documentation as you can. There's never not enough. And by the way, Jilly Bean with the proper calendar, it is Monday, June 29th, because June 27th is Saturday. So we will not be on the air on Saturday the 27th. We're going to be back live in our studio on Monday, June 29th. Tamika Nelson, how are you, my dear? Deanna Moore, Dion Reed, I think I said already. And I don't read this language. I'm not sure if it's Hindu or if it is, I'm not sure which language this is, so I can't tell you what this person's name is, but I will ask the question anyway. To the person speaking in a foreign language I am not familiar with, says, "Hi, Brad," but he asks the question in English. Says, "Hi, Brad. I got my I-360 approval notice, and I got the initial grant of deferred action. What do I do now? I already have an EAD with category change C31. Is it safe to travel on the advance parole?" Well, you wouldn't be able to get an advance parole, which is the I-131, unless you file an adjustment application. So if you file the adjustment application, it is absolutely safe to travel on the advance parole. You have an approved I-360, file the adjustment, you'll get the advance parole and bon voyage, safe for immigration. Coronavirus, you got to speak to your doctor about that. But for immigration, yes. And Denisha Joseph, with everything going on, we need some good news on immigration. Did anyone see that the processing times went 4 years backwards? That gave me a headache. I'm not sure. We got to look at the visa bulletin. I'm not sure which. Oh, my son is calling me in the middle of a show. Zachary, don't you realize I do a show right now? You want to join me on my show? Zach, do you want to join me on my show? Nope, he hangs the phone up. Now he realizes he is completely embarrassed. All right, so he will not do that again. He will not do that again. And of course, now that he called, I have to go back on to Facebook. And who else we have here? Marge Hicks. By the way, Zachary Bernstein, we're going to take that piece and put it on Instagram. I'm going to tag you on Instagram, and that will embarrass you so that you will never do that again. Marge Hicks with a question. Can you inform us as to what category of I-45 are exempted from the green card hold? The green card hold is, we're referring to two different things. Number one, there was a ban on immigration, and that was a 60-day ban, which is probably over already. We just got to wait for the U.S. embassies to open up again. That is basically over. Trump has not extended it. It's just an issue of, will embassies open and when are they going to start processing people's green cards? And then the ban for the adjustments here is, again, it has nothing to do with immigration. It's about having a safe interview. And when will immigration be able to conduct immigration interviews? They said it was going to be in June. Now they pushed it back to early July. So let's see what happens. And Joan Cowell with saying hello as well. You know what? I got to get into some schmoozing. But before I get into some schmoozing, I got to remind everybody to please share, like, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. So on YouTube, we have over 125 people watching, but only 31 thumbs up. Turn that. Where is Tally and 29 Super C? Those are my two cheerleaders on YouTube, telling everybody. Oh, there she is, Tally saying it. YouTube, hit the great thumb underneath the video. Let's show some love. Thank you, Tally. You guys are our advertising agency. You guys got to tell me, You guys got to tell us. You guys got to tell everybody in the world this show is good. Give us a thumbs up. You got 130 people watching on YouTube and only 40 thumbs up. Come on, guys, you can do better. And if you have not subscribed to our show, subscribe. That way you get notified every time we come on live. All right, you will get notified every time we come on live. Wait till we get back in our studio. Wait till Yo-Yo shows up. Everyone's like, oh, I'm in love with Yo-Yo. Oh, Yo-Yo, I'm in love with Yo-Yo. I feel so bad when I'm done with Yo-Yo. Everybody's in love with Yo-Yo. I said, this should be the Yo-Yo show. I'm kidding. I love Yo-Yo too. And everyone loves Nesquik as well. Everybody loves Nesquik and Yo-Yo. So wait till we get back on, wait till we get back live in our studio. And if you're watching on Facebook, you should like and follow us. Like and follow us. Subscribe on YouTube. You'll get notified every time we come on live. If you subscribe on YouTube, and you like and follow us on Facebook, you can join the Brad Squad, the greatest, coolest group ever put together in the history of the world. And I am not the only one who says it. There's over 6,000 people who are part of the Brad Squad who say it too. And all you got to do is subscribe on YouTube, like and follow us on Facebook. And you too can be part of the Brad Squad. All you got to do is find our Brad Squad membership group on Facebook. And Jilly Bean is the head of the membership committee at the moment. And you just kind of shimmy up to Jilly Bean on Facebook and say, hey, could I become part of the Brad Squad? And she'll say, do you subscribe on YouTube? And you'll say yes. And she'll say, do you like and follow us on Facebook? And you'll say yes. And she'll say, are you a cool person? And I assume you'll say, yes, I'm a cool person. And then you're in. That is the entire interview to get into the Brad Squad. In addition, if you need to reach me, the telephone number below is 1-800-529-5465. Internationally, it's 212-227-8933. And in a little bit, it is Throwback Thursday. Last year on June 19th, because that's Juneteenth is tomorrow, Jonathan went to a Juneteenth celebration in Linden Park in Brooklyn. So we're going to play that as a throwback in a little bit. So stay tuned for, the few who don't know, Juneteenth is the official American holiday that commemorates the abolition of slavery in 1865 in the last remaining U.S. state that slavery still existed, and that was in Texas. Now, before we get into our schmooze, I screwed up yesterday, guys. And how did I screw up yesterday? I forgot to put the names in the hat. My fault. Sometimes it happens. I'm hitting myself in the head so it doesn't happen again. So what we did was I said I felt bad. And people say, what name's in the hat? Okay, let me explain. If you follow Brad Show Live on Instagram and you found the bouncing Brad with confetti exploding behind me, then guess what? You tagged 5 of your friends. Your name goes in this hat to win a free consultation with me valued at $200. Now, yesterday we were supposed to pull the names out of the hat and I forgot. So we extended our free consultation giveaway for one additional day. And in addition to that, I said, because it was my screw up, I'm going to pull 2 names out of the hat today. So you're going to get 2 chances. I'm going to give 2 free consultations today. And the winner of the Brad Show Live Instagram. Yes, I tagged 5 of my friends on the bouncing Brad with the confetti cannon. The first winner is, ladies and gentlemen, let's see who it is. It is B. Carolyn. B. Carolyn is the first winner. Congratulations, B. Carolyn. All you got to do is drop us a DM on Instagram at Brad Show Live. Pizza is following all the DMs on at Brad Show Live, and she will set up your free consultation with me. But because I screwed up yesterday, I said I'm going to do 2, not 1, but 2. 2 people. Let's see who the second person's going to be. The second person's going to be, let's see. It is going to be Barnett Nadia. Barnett Nadia is the second winner of the free consultation. Congratulations, Barnett Nadia, and congratulations to B. Carolyn. You guys won the free consultations with me. And by the way, folks, if you say, hey, how come I didn't win a free consultation? It's because you did not follow Bradshaw Live on Instagram. You didn't find the Bouncing Brad and you didn't tag 5 of your friends. But we're going to give you one more opportunity to do it because we have a new Bouncing Brad that's been put up. We're going to have a new free immigration consultation giveaway next Wednesday. So you got to find the new Bouncing Brad, but this Bouncing Brad does not have confetti popping up. This new Bouncing Brad has what, Lee? What does the new Bouncing Brad have? The new Bouncing Brad has, no, that's the old Bouncing Brad. That's the old one. There's a new one, new Bouncing Brad. Where's the new Bouncing Brad? There's a new Bouncing Brad somewhere. Lee will find it. We'll come back. Lee, you let me know when you find the new Bouncing Brad on Instagram. That was the old Bouncing Brad. Trust me, new Bouncing Brad is there somewhere. If you find the new Bouncing Brad, the post was put up about 48 hours ago. And if you find the new Bouncing Brad, it was put up about 48 hours ago. You can tag 5 of your friends on Instagram at Bradshaw Live, and you too can win a free consultation with me. With that, we got a lot to do. I got a lot of immigration questions I still have to answer. We're going to get to all of your immigration questions, I promise you. But first, we got to do something we like to call schmoozing with Brad. All right, let's hear it for the Supreme Court of the United States of America. How many times do you hear that? 2 times in a row. Boom. Not one. Boom. Twice. The U.S. Supreme Court today ruled the Trump administration cannot shut down DACA, cannot shut down deferred action for childhood arrivals. This is now going to allow 800,000 young people who are now young adults, many of them known as dreamers, to avoid deportation, remain in the United States. The decision is a huge, huge defeat for President Trump on the issue of immigration, which has been a major focus for those who don't follow Bradshaw Live and don't follow the news, been a major focus of his domestic agenda. Chief Justice John Roberts was the swing vote in the 5-4 decision that said the government did not give any good excuse why they were closing down the program. So they basically said, Donald Trump came out and said, yeah, I don't think Obama had the authority to do this. I'm going to shut it down. Well, you know what the Supreme Court said? That's not a good excuse because you think Obama didn't have authority to do it. That is no excuse. You didn't show any government reason, any significant reason why this program should be shut down. As a result, the Supreme Court said that Trump's order trying to shut down the DACA program completely illegal. What's amazing is that on Monday, Supreme Court, which is supposed to have a conservative majority, found in favor of LGBTQ employment discrimination, says you cannot discriminate in an employment situation against LGBTQ individuals. And now, second day this week, they came down with a huge decision that will reverberate socially throughout the United States of America. The DACA recipients will be able to stay here. Now, that does not mean that the DACA recipients can get a green card. They still have to put a program together for that. But the DACA recipients will be able to live here legally. They will be able to renew their work permission. They will be able to continue to work and pay taxes. The Association of American Medical Colleges told the court last fall, as part of the pro-DACA litigants, well before this pandemic, that the United States is unprepared to fill the loss that would result if DACA recipients were excluded from the healthcare workforce. DACA recipients were on the front line and are still on the front line for coronavirus. More than 100 business groups, including Apple and Microsoft, sought to preserve DACA, and figures show that over 90% of DACA participants have a job. Now, Trump tweeted this afternoon. All right, the pumpkin tweeted this afternoon. Do you get the impression? I can't do a Trump imitation. I wish I could. Do you get the impression that the Supreme Court doesn't like me? And remarked, These horrible and politically charged decisions coming out of the Supreme Court are shotgun blasts into the face of people that are proud to call themselves Republicans. I don't know if it is or not, because a large majority of Americans support DACA. A significant minority of Republicans support DACA. A huge majority of Democrats support. So nationally, over 65% of Americans supported DACA, over 80% of Democrats, and I think close to 40% of Republicans. So that's not necessarily true that Republicans were not supporting DACA. And look at Trump saying he's taking it personally. Well, he should take it personally because he's an idiot. Because if he did things the proper way, there wouldn't be a DACA right now. But he just decided to wake up one morning and say, you know what, no more DACA, without any legal thought process on why there shouldn't be DACA. So as a result, Trump only has himself to look at, not the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, so if you, by the way, if you have DACA, you can renew it. Go renew it. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, I just have one other thing. That doesn't mean that Trump can't try to overturn it again. But if he does, it's going to take another year or 2 years or 3 years to work through that court process. And I don't think he's going to do anything before the election come November. So let's see what happens. Meanwhile, DACA recipients are safe at least for another couple of years. Meanwhile, the Atlanta police, they called a walkout today. A higher than usual number of Atlanta police officers, I'm sorry, not today, yesterday, on Wednesday. They called out of work on Wednesday night after 2 officers were charged in the death of Rashad Brooks, a black man who was killed at the Wendy's last week in Atlanta. The police department tweeted Wednesday night, the department is experiencing a higher than usual number of call-outs with the incoming shift. We have enough resources to maintain operations and remain able to respond to incidents. The police department denied that officers had walked off the job, but Vince Champion, Southeast Regional Director for the Police Union, International Brotherhood of Police Officers, told NBC News, that some officers were in fact protesting the charges by walking off the job. District Attorney Paul Howard on Wednesday announced 11 charges. He acted extraordinarily fast, much faster. I give him a lot of credit, much faster than what they did in Minneapolis. It took them weeks. To charge the police officers in the killing of George Floyd. And the killing of George Floyd was so much more obvious than this particular case, because in this particular case, Rayshard Brooks did steal the cop's taser and did run from the arrest and did turn around and try to shoot the cop with a taser. Still didn't require the cop to shoot him in the back. And it was a great job by District Attorney Paul Howard on Wednesday, announced 11 charges against the police officer, including felony murder and aggravated assault. The police officer's name is Garrett Rolfe. And the other officer, Devin Brosnan, was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault, and they are both on administrative leave. I am waiting for the chief of police of Atlanta to fire these people. That's what should happen next. Meanwhile, as we said, tomorrow is the celebration of Juneteenth. That was the end of slavery in every state in America, Texas being the last one. It happened more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Abraham Lincoln. And it was because there was no internet back then. So news didn't travel as quickly as it does now. And there were a lot of people in southern Texas that the Civil War never made it to. And they said, screw it, we're keeping slaves, until the Union troops eventually made it into Texas and secured the release of the final slaves on June 19th. Now, Nike, the NFL, and other businesses, including Spar and Bernstein, Spar and Bernstein, are giving their employees a day off for Juneteenth for the first time this year, the latest example of how American employers are responding to protests that have placed additional attention on racial injustice in the United States. Now, Juneteenth commemorated June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger came to Galveston, Texas, just like I explained, to announce the end of the Civil War and slavery. Texans began celebrating the day a year later with parades and parties. It's not a federal holiday, but most states are now observing it in some way except 3. There's only 3 states that do not observe Juneteenth, and that is Hawaii, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Now, businesses have been forced to re-examine their policies after pressure from employees and ongoing protests. This week, Nike CEO John Donahoe told workers they would get Juneteenth off starting this year as a way to celebrate Black culture and history. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, who last week said that the league was wrong to not listen to football players who have protested police brutality on the field, wrote that the power of this historical feat in our country's blemished history is felt each year, but there is no question that the magnitude of this event weighs even more heavily today in the current climate. Now, we'll get back to a little more Juneteenth in a little bit because we have a great piece from when Jonathan went to the Juneteenth celebrations last year. But we also have another issue going on in the United States. It's called coronavirus. And according to statistics from Johns Hopkins University, there are over now 8.4 million coronavirus cases worldwide, 451,000 confirmed dead. In the United States, 2.2 million people have been diagnosed with coronavirus, over 118,000 deaths. And there are many valid studies that say that by September, we're going to reach 220,000 deaths in the United States. Now, Texas, Arizona, Florida, all reporting higher daily increases in coronavirus cases, even after all 3 states implemented and later lifted stay-at-home orders meant to stop the spread. Hospitals in Arizona have been urged to activate emergency plans, and more than 1,400 people who are believed to have the virus were hospitalized in Arizona last Friday. 1,400 new cases hospitalized in Arizona, up from 755 a month earlier. On Tuesday, on the state's Tuesday's record of 2,341 daily cases was the first time Arizona reported more than 2,000 cases in a single day. Texas reported 3,358 new cases on Tuesday. In Houston last Thursday, the district's top elected official warned that the community was on the precipice of a disaster. And on Saturday, Florida saw its largest single-day count of cases since the pandemic began. Most of Florida has entered phase 2. Florida reported 2,783 cases, including 15 consecutive days of more than 1,000 daily cases. On the front page of the New York Post today, they were saying, at least in the New York Post, that Florida is now the epicenter of coronavirus in the United States. Meanwhile, despite all of this, Donald Trump says coronavirus is going down. I don't see that in any news article, but except he says it. And as a result, he says he's going to go and have a campaign rally in an indoor coliseum in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma is also on the list of states seeing a rise in cases. And this is just even a few days before Trump's election rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Oklahoman, which I guess is the newspaper in Oklahoma, reported a new record of cases in one single day, 228 cases. Now, supporters who plan to attend President Donald Trump's election, there's going to be 20,000 people in this arena. If 20,000 people in this arena and you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people who are sick in this arena, you are going to get thousands and thousands of people leaving the arena in Tulsa, Oklahoma, potentially carrying coronavirus back into their homes to infect others. This is called super spreaders. This is called how contagion goes into a pandemic. So I am concerned, and many people are concerned, that all of our good work in staying home, in avoiding large crowds, in quarantining, in losing 45 million jobs in America are all going to be effed up because Donald Trump wants to have a political rally in an enclosed arena in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they have now had the single largest increase in a single day of coronaviruses ever. Now, last week, believe it or not, the Trump campaign is looking to shield itself, even though Donald Trump is saying, don't worry, coronavirus is on is on the decline. There is no coronavirus. Well, if there's no coronavirus, why is it if you want to sign up to attend Donald Trump's virus petri dish campaign event in the Tulsa, Oklahoma arena, why do you need to sign? Every person who gets a free ticket has to sign a liability disclaimer to not sue Donald Trump if they get coronavirus, which leads me to believe, I wonder if you can sue Donald Trump if there's a person who goes and gets coronavirus and then brings it into your home and you didn't sign that waiver, and they got coronavirus in this arena, they bring it into your home and you get coronavirus. I don't think that waiver follows to Donald to the next person. Now, I think that's a hard lawsuit, but the fact that Donald Trump is making people sign waivers, and at the same moment, he's saying, "Don't worry, there's no coronavirus." Come on. Okay. Meanwhile, Oprah had a great book club, and I don't know if I want to start a book club or not, but I decided that I'm going to give everybody my summer reading list, and we can read these books together, and we can talk about them every day here on Brad Show Live. The first book on Brad's summer reading list, Uncle Brad's summer reading list. The first book is called The Room Where It Happened, a White House memoir. This is written by former President Trump's National Security Advisor, John Bolton. In his book, Bolton accused Trump of, among other things, asking the Chinese President Xi to increase purchase of American soybeans, which would help him, Donald Trump, win the 2020 election. Bolton's book, set for the June 23rd release, is expected to detail other pressure campaigns on foreign governments. He wrote, quote, "I am hard-pressed to identify any significant Trump decision during my White House tenure that was not driven by re-election calculations. Among the observations Bolton makes in his book is that Trump did not seem to know Britain is a nuclear power. He didn't know England had nuclear weapons. And he also asked his foreign advisors if Finland is part of Russia or if they're their own country. Well, Donald Trump, Finland is their own country. Next to Russia, but it's their own country. Bolton also writes that the president told him reporters should be in prison and said these people should be executed. They're scumbags. That was what he was referring to, the people who write news articles for the Washington Post. Bolton also wrote in his excerpts that the president seemed unmoved by the massive protests last year in Hong Kong and against Chinese communist government over human rights crackdowns. Bolton wrote, "I first heard Trump react on June 12th upon hearing that some 1.5 million people had been at Sunday's demonstrations. He said, that's a big deal. But then he immediately added, I don't want to get involved. We have human rights problems here too." Now, President Trump also allegedly told President Xi that he endorsed Beijing's now infamous, it's not famous, but it's infamous, prison camps. Some people call them concentration camps for minority Uyghurs. And that is a prison camp in China that they are purposely trying to convert Chinese Muslim minority to a new religion that is not Muslim. Now, predictably, Trump responded by freaking out on Twitter. And he tweeted, "Wacko John Bolton's exceedingly tedious book is made up of lies and fake stories. Said all good about me in print until the day I fired him." Now, the only thing I have to say about John Bolton is that I will read his book. I hate to give him money, but I will read his book. It is on Uncle Brad's summer reading list. But I would have to say that outside of Donald Trump, he may be the least patriotic person in this entire United States of America, because he had all of this information. All of this information he had. And he chose not to go testify to the House committee during the impeachment of Donald Trump. And the reason why Donald Trump was not impeached was the Republicans were saying, well, you didn't present Democrats. You didn't present one person who overheard Donald Trump say anything. This is all innuendo. It's all circumstantial. Well, here's John Bolton. He heard everything that happened with Ukraine. He heard everything that happened that wasn't even part of the impeachment, that Trump was asking the president of China to help him get reelected. And this was firsthand knowledge. And had he testified, perhaps the Republicans would not have had a defense to the entire impeachment. But he did not go testify. He wasn't interested in doing the right thing. They were career diplomats. They were career government officers and officials who lost their jobs and their entire career to do the right thing and come testify, and they got slung through the mud. And here's a guy who heard everything, and he says, I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to write a book and make money. So I find him, outside of Donald Trump, to be the most unpatriotic person in America this week. Meanwhile, another book on Uncle Brad's reading list is a new book about Melania Trump called The Art of Her Deal, The Untold Story of Melania Trump. That is also coming out this week. It is based on more than 100 interviews. According to one revelation in the book, part of the reason First Lady Melania Trump to later move from New York City to the White House in 2017 was to renegotiate her prenuptial agreement. I believe that. Now, author Mary Jordan cites sources close to Melania as saying her intent in doing so was to amend her financial agreement with Trump. Melania referred to as, quote, taking care of Barron. Now, according to the Post, the book said the First Lady needed time to cool off after the president's alleged sexual indiscretions. And Jordan writes that 3 people close to Trump say that this new prenuptial agreement ensured that Barron is not going to be shut out of the family business. Now, there is a final book on Uncle Brad's reading list this summer, and it is a book being written by Mary Trump, the niece of Donald Trump. She is going to divulge a series of damaging stories about him in her upcoming book, the first time that the president can be forced to grapple with unflattering revelations by a member of his own family. The niece, Mary Trump, will release the book, Too Much and Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man, on July 28th. The Daily Beast first reported on the book on Sunday. In the book, Mary Trump will say she was a primary source for the New York Times coverage of Trump's finances. 3 journalists from the Times received the Pulitzer Prize for explanatory reporting last year for their work providing an unprecedented look at the Trump family's finances and contradicting Donald Trump's image as a self-made millionaire. Mary Trump is the daughter of Fred Trump Jr., the president's older brother, who died in 1981. She is mostly kept out of the public eye, except for a family feud over the will. And finally, coronavirus cannot stop one of America's biggest 4th of July traditions from happening, because the Nathan's hot dog eating contest will be going on down this year. And if there are a lot of hot dogs going down a lot of throats, or maybe I should have saved that line for Hump Day, but at a private location without fans, the hot dog eating contest will go on and will feature only a third of the competitors to ensure social distancing. The hot dog eating contest usually draws thousands of fans at Surf and Stillwell Avenues on Coney Island each year. I have to say, if you've ever watched it on TV, it is absolutely disgusting. But given the global pandemic, it is all going down this year anyway. It's one of those things that's so disgusting, but you can't keep your eyes off of the TV. Now, all staffers will be wearing masks and gloves, and all eaters will be tested for coronavirus prior to the showdown. 12-time champ Joey Chestnut said back in April he was preparing for the event as if it were happening. So he's going to be ready. Joey Chestnut has been training for the hot dog eating contest. Now, Major League Eating, the organization behind the event, and the eaters are making donations to local food banks, and they will honor essential workers in New York City. I have one last final story before we get to our immigration questions. Surfers around the world are paddling out to sea in support of Black Lives Matter movement to protest injustice and pay tribute to Black lives lost to police brutality. Lou Harris, the founder of the East Coast chapter of the Black Surfing Association, organized a paddle out in New York City's Rockaway Beach on June 6th. The peaceful demonstration attracted more than 350 surfers. Harris told CNN, "I expected it to be 50 or 60 people, but hundreds of surfers showed up. It was really emotional and crazy to see. It was very diverse. It felt like a rock concert. I wasn't just for George Floyd. It was for every African-American victim of police brutality. All right, and there you have it. That is our schmooze for the day. And we got to get into answering some of your immigration questions. Let's see what happened to my Facebook feed. I don't know what happened. Oh, there was Facebook. YouTube. All right. So before we get into our immigration questions, what do I got to say here? Remind everybody to share. Remind everybody to subscribe. Remember, YouTube and Instagram. That's what it says here. All right. If you're watching on YouTube right now, we have 162 people watching. Only 68 people gave me a thumbs up. There's about 100 people who haven't given me a thumbs up. Tally. Come on. You tell them what they need to do. Give me that thumbs up. Share this to your friends and family. How do you share this to your friends and family? There's a share button right next to the thumbs up. You can share the copy of this link to Twitter, Facebook, Blogger, Reddit, Tumblr. You can copy it and send it in a WhatsApp, whatever you need to do, and you'll be notified. And by the way, if you subscribe, you'll be notified every time. I'm repeating myself. If you share it, you can tell all your friends and family to watch our show. But if you also subscribe, you'll be notified every time we come live on the air. And of course, on Facebook, you want to do the same exact thing. You want to like and follow, start your watch parties. I am going to be answering your immigration questions very, very shortly. Lee, do we have the right Instagram post now? If you want to join, if you want to follow at Bradshaw Live and get in on the free immigration consultation, we have the new Bouncing Brad. There is the new Bouncing Brad. That is the post. That is the post that you're supposed to like. I think that's the old post. There's a new post. Trust me, there's a new post. It was just put up 2 days ago. That's the old post. You wanna subscribe. We'll get the new post out to you. Don't worry. There's a post there. Trust me. What else do we have to say? That's it. Let's get into some immigration questions. In something we like to call, you got an immigration question? I'll try to answer it. All right, so let's see where we're going to start here. Where did I leave off on Facebook? All right, Beverly Robinson King. Hello, Brad. What is the fee for a work permit extension under the VAWA? The I-360 was approved since November 2019. My I-45 was filed with the VAWA. How long do you think I have left? You can file the I-765 for free. Just put down section C9 because you're going to get the work permit now based on the pending adjustment. You do not need to pay a fee. And it was filed in November 2019. You got to figure it's about 12 to 18 months from November 2019 for an interview. Clifford Gordon. Just saying, your man just got a bill. I work with computers, so I was missing Bradshaw. Okay. Let's see. All right. Sophie with a question. I paid for my green card from 6th of February. I came into the USA on the 14th of February. I've not received my green card yet. It's over 120 days. What kind of advice can you give me? There's not a lot of advice I can give you at this moment, other than you can make an inquiry with immigration. Call the 1-800 number, see what they have to say. Everything's a little delayed right now because of coronavirus. You should be getting it momentarily, but certainly contact the 1-800 number. That would be the first place I would go, see what they have to say. Let's see what else we have here. Sweet Ex Theorist. She has not showed up for a while and comes right in with an immigration question. For a friend, she found out she's in a bigamous marriage. She adjusted her status, but asked her lawyer to withdraw the petition. Question, can she void her marriage? Does she have to go and get it annulled? Secondly, she's been married to this U.S. citizen nearly 2 years as an overstay in the USA. What can she do based on her situation? Well, if you're in a bigamous marriage, you're not married to him. It's a void marriage. I would get an annulment just so when you go back to immigration, there's no question that you were in a bigamous marriage and therefore you're not showing up with your next husband and they claim you're in your friend's in the bigamous marriage, and your friend would say, no, my husband was in a bigamous marriage before, so therefore that marriage was void, and it becomes very complicated. So I think the best thing for her to do is get an annulment and get a judge to void her marriage, even though it's void by operation of law. There's only one thing you could do when you're in a bigamous marriage. There's two things you can do in a bigamous marriage. You can get your spouse to get a divorce and remarry your spouse and then apply for the green card. Or two, if that marriage is kaput, then you get the annulment. And if there was abuse, if there's abuse, then you can file a VAWA even in a bigamous marriage. Otherwise, you would need to get married again. And by the way, I just got notification that was the correct post. So let's see that post one more time. That is the free consultation post. Find that post. I guess we put up the same post 2 times in a row because that was the same post from the week before with the confetti cannon. So I don't know why we have the post 2 times in a row, but we do. So find that post, tag 5 friends. And if you do, you can get involved in next week's immigration free consultation giveaway. All right, let's see what else we have here. Jesus Hazen with a question. Hey, Uncle Brad, I'm filing the I-864. My wife is a U.S. citizen and doesn't meet the minimum requirement. She's a full-time student, is not working, so we're using a joint sponsor. Do we still have to fill out the parts on the form asking for employment and income, even if we are using a joint sponsor? She has not filled taxes. We don't have these documents. Thanks from the DR. All right, let's read this one more time. I'm filing my I-864. My wife is a U.S. citizen and doesn't meet the minimum requirements. She's a full-time student and is not working. Yes, you still have to, and the question is, do we still have to fill out the parts on the form asking for employment and income, even if you are using a joint sponsor? Yes, you fill it out and you say not employed. You fill it out and say not employed. And I've now received 25 text messages from Jilly saying I'm not correct. It is the same. It is a different post. I hear you, Jilly. It is a different post, a different color. One was teal, one was blue. To me, it looks like the same exact post. But Jilly says one's teal and one's blue, so be it. All right. So let's continue to the next one. Niak Einkun. Good evening, team. My question to you is, my priority date is July 5th, 2012. How long is the wait? Thanks in advance. Only thing I have available is the first letter I should be getting anything as yet. I don't know who filed for you, Niak Einkun. Were you filed for by a parent? Are you single? Are you married? If you're single, let's assume you're single and you got filed by a U.S. citizen, excuse me, and you got filed for by a U.S. citizen, then your priority date is current. You should be hearing from the National Visa Center. If you are married, then you would not hear for a few more years. Even if you were single and filed for by your permanent resident parent, you should have heard something from now. So the answer is, if you're single, you need to contact the National Visa Center. If you are not single, the priority dates have not been reached yet because your priority date is July 5th, 2012. I just don't know who filed for you to give you the right answer. Let's see what else we have here. Loki Sam. I didn't receive my extension letter after filing my I-751 jointly. Can I still file for the N-400 when my 3 years hit? Still married? Yes, you can. As long as you know that the extension is pending, you absolutely can. Just because you don't have it doesn't mean that they don't have a record that you filed for the I-751. Let's see what else. Pradeep Ram. Uncle Brad, sorry for the long question. My lawyer filed on October 2018 VAWA, and it's been 20 months since I filed. I provided police clearances for the last 5 years from the UAE, New York, and Texas. Recently, USCIS updated my status as undergoing background checks. Please tell me your opinion. How long does the background check take? The background check shouldn't take more than 12 months. If it is now 20 months and you're still in background check, at that point, I think you need to contact me, and we need to start thinking about filing a mandamus or threatening to file a mandamus to force the government to do their job. 20 months since you filed an adjustment application and your case is still in background checks, that's a problem. So I would give me a call if you choose to. Brad, this is from Cher Topaz. Brad, I'm contemplating getting your summer books, but it pains my heart to waste my money on these unscrupulous people. You know, I was just talking about that with Jilly. So like for John Bolton, for example, I bet you somebody's going to put that book online for free. And you'll be able to find it for free somewhere. I bet you. So don't go spend money on John Bolton. Taser Jaddlehack. Hi, my wife for 20 years was a permanent resident from 2000 to 2005. Then we left out of the U.S. for my job and we stayed for 123 years. One second, you didn't stay for 123 years. Let me read this again. My wife for 20 years was a permanent resident from 2000 to 2005. Then we left the U.S. for my job and we stayed out for 23 years. You wrote 123 years. I assume it's 23 years. I filed the I-130 again for her overseas and she got the permanent resident status again. We came back to the U.S. on January 2019. When can she file for her citizenship? She can file for her citizenship in January 2022, 3 years after she got her conditional green card back again, or a permanent green card back again. Wouldn't be conditional, it would be a permanent green card back. So in 2022, 3 years from then. It has nothing to do, Taser, with how long you've been married or how many children you have. What it has to do with is how long has she had her green card, and she got her green card in January 2019, so you got to wait 3 years. Todia Gunny Christopher with a question. My friend had married a U.S. citizen and was told he had to go back, and he did. It's going to be 10 years next year. When does he start filing for her husband? Well, why did he go back? Was he deported? If he was deported, what was he deported for? So if he was just deported because, when I hear I had to go back, it sounds to me like he was deported. So if he was deported for fraud, then he needs a waiver. If he was deported for being here illegally for more than a year, he needs a waiver. If he was deported for criminal activity, he may or may not be eligible for a waiver. When should she start filing for him? Now. Why not? But before she starts filing for him, let's figure out why he got sent back. And then we can figure out what waivers are available before she goes and wastes her time spending money and effort to go file for him. Let's see what else we have here. Tulsa Tevis. Brad, my husband is a Canadian citizen. What do I file? Are you asking to go to Canada? I have no idea what you filed to go to Canada. If you're asking that you're a U.S. citizen and you want to file for your husband who's Canadian and he's in Canada now, you would file an I-130 visa petition. Meanwhile, I had told you we had a really great piece on Juneteenth that we ran last year, and it is Throwback Thursday. And Juneteenth is the official American holiday that commemorates the abolition of slavery. June 19th, 1865 marks the day when the news of emancipation reached people in the deepest parts of the former Confederacy in Galveston, Texas. In commemoration of the holiday, we're throwing it back this Thursday with Jonathan at last year's Juneteenth celebration at Linden Park in Brooklyn. Let's watch.
What's up, Brad Squad? This is Jonathan Elias at the 10th Annual Juneteenth Festival here in Brooklyn, New York. I hope that you guys are ready for a great time because this is celebrating the emancipation of slavery, celebrated every year, June 19th. Now, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed September 22nd, 1862, and the Civil War ended April of 1865. But it wasn't until June 19th, 1865, that the Union General Gordon Granger led thousands of the federal troops to Galveston, Texas to announce the ending of the Civil War and the freedom of slaves. Approximately 250,000 Texan slaves didn't even know that their freedom was secured by the government several months before. Now today, we're celebrating Juneteenth, and I'm taking you along the African-American journey through the lens of love, culminating in almost 2 miles of an amazing unity parade, and I hope that you guys are ready. Let's go. First of all, Nubian queen right here. Look at this. Look at this outfit. Y'all get this outfit?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love your style.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I want to know, what are you doing here today?
I am promoting henna. I have henna arts. I have Nubia apparel, different cultural things that we're selling today.
Nice. So did you do your own henna?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
That's talent right there. So why is it important to celebrate Juneteenth?
It's important to celebrate Juneteenth just for recognizing African history, Black culture. You know, even if you don't really know too much about Juneteenth, just to acknowledge your ancestors, just to take that moment, just to celebrate that. That's very important.
Now I want to know, what's a misconception of African American history?
The biggest misconception of African American history is that our history started with slavery. When you begin to understand where you come from, who you are, you will see that we came from a lineage of royalty. African Americans or Africans in America, our whole existence did not start with slavery. We actually resided on this land prior to slavery. So it's our job to say, this is who we are, this is where we come from, and don't rely on the textbooks written by somebody else who has no interest in you.
Yes, can we snap for that? Can we snap for that? That's what I'm talking about. It's my jam. They playing the jam today. You gotta get a little dance break before we start, right? Yeah. First of all, talking about energy, I feel great in here.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so kind. That's the whole point.
So what exactly are you doing here today?
I handcraft all natural bath and body products. So that consists of soap, body butters, body wash, bath bombs, scented soy candles that melt into body oil. All natural products handcrafted by these blessed hands.
Yes, I love that. How important is it to be here celebrating and representing for Juneteenth?
It's very important for me because of Black economics. Black people, Black organizations, Black businesses, we need to support each other, keep our money within our community.
Yes.
There's no disrespect to anybody else, but we always go out and support everybody else, but we never keep our money within our community to support ourselves and our children.
Yeah. Is this the first Juneteenth festival that you've been at?
My third.
Your third?
Yeah.
All right, so you already know what's up, right?
Yes. I do the African Art Festival, Go Africa, all of the festivals.
Yes.
I love the festivals.
Yes, I love it too. I love the feel of everybody coming together, unifying. So what exactly are you guys here celebrating?
Well, we came out to celebrate Juneteenth, help our people, support our people. You know, since 1865, we've been free-ish. So that's all I came out to see, our people, see what we have become, what we've accomplished.
Do you like coming to these festivals?
Yes.
What do you look forward to the most?
I'm seeing most of the shows, like the things that they're going to be doing.
Nice. Why is it important for you to come and support these type of festivals and also bring young ones and show them culture and learn about the history?
So we need to let our youth know that we can accomplish anything we put our minds to it. You know, they entrapped us, like it was against our will, but we've made it. Like, you know, every day God blesses you to wake up and see another day. It's a day that you should put your best foot forward, and despite the odds, leave that negative where it belongs behind you. The past is the past. Our kids need to know that we came from a rich culture, we are a rich culture, and we are going to continue to be a rich culture.
Yes. So what exactly is going on here?
We're a campaign that wants to replace the civilian review board that is accountable for holding officers accountable, but when they misbehave. But unfortunately, when the complaints come to them, oftentimes the commissioner reduces personal liability. So what we want to do is remove the CCRB and replace it with an elected civilian review board, because it's going to be people that are elected from the community. And so we're interested in changing that legislatively.
I want you to let me know who these people are.
Yes, these people that are represented here, unfortunately, have been murdered by the police. There's been no outcome as far as the penalties of what the police is serving for their murders.
How can they find you guys so they can sign the petition?
You can find us at Stop Police Violence NYC, or you can go to stoppoliceviolencenyc@gmail.com. You can find information about us, and then we can plug you into whichever part of the campaign you're interested in.
I see you guys with the Remember the 400 shirts and the logos everywhere. I want everybody out there to know exactly what you guys stand for and represent.
So Remember the 400, we're to commemorate African slaves that arrived into the New Americas in Hampton, Virginia, 1619, 400 years ago. It's a huge part of history, our culture. It's a big impact, period.
And why is it so important to come and represent that here at Juneteenth?
Remember the 400 is a campaign to not forget about our history and our past, because you must learn from your past in order to progress to your future. So it's very important to be aware of your culture.
There you have it, Brad Squad. A day and a festival full of love, culture, and pride. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. This was one of the best festivals that I've covered for you guys. One, because I felt very true to it, but you could also feel how genuine the people I spoke to was. They just want to tell you their story, they want to share their history, and they want you to feel it. And I hope you guys felt it through that lens.
All right, that was a great job by Jonathan. Let's get back to some immigration questions before we end our show. We got a whole bunch here on YouTube and some that were asked on YouTube comments. Let me get to them quickly. Kristen on YouTube prior to the show says, I'm a resident, but my status of residency is abandoned. I want to come back to the U.S. Well, if you abandoned your permanent residence, you got to start over from scratch. You got to figure out a new way to get a green card. Kamar Solomon asked a question about a day ago. If I have a criminal background from my home country, theft, I went to court, I paid a fine, no time served, do I have to file an I-601 when adjusting? It depends what the maximum time for that theft offense was. If the maximum time for that theft offense in your home country was 1 year in jail or less, then it would be considered a crime of moral turpitude, but a petty offense. You would not need a waiver. If in your home country, if the judge wanted to throw the book at you and put you to jail for the maximum, and the maximum was more than 1 year, then yes, you would need a waiver. So we got to figure out what the law was in your home country. Ruhal Marwaha has a question. Hi, I'm from Nepal. My parents are green card holders. They applied for my F2B category February 2019. When can I expect my green card? About a while from now, about 4 or 5 years from now. And Jesus has a question. Hi, Brad. I love your YouTube channel. Keep it up. The I-130 was approved. My wife is petitioning for me. I'm the husband. I'm outside of the United States. I recently received the letter from the National Visa Center. We're required to fill out an affidavit of support, but my wife does not meet the minimum income requirements. She's a full-time student. So we are using a joint sponsor. As it explains on the instructions, we still need to fill out one for her own, as she's the petitioner, and a second one for the joint sponsor. Correct. Even if your wife is not working, she needs to fill out the I-864 affidavit of support. Now, she has been unemployed for the last 2 years, and she has not filed taxes. On the I-864 form, there's a section for employment and income. Is it okay to leave those parts empty as we have a joint sponsor? Or do you have any suggestions? Just write not employed. That's all. Don't leave it empty. Just write not employed. All right. Kamar Solomon asking the same question. Theft charge in home country, no jail time, paid fine. What are the odds of adjusting? I answered that question. It depends what was I need to know what the actual penal code was in your particular country. Better Life Records. Bless up, Brad. What are the required documents to use a house as an asset on an I-864? Well, you need, the required documents are you need to prove who owns the house, so title to the home, and you need to know what the value of the house is after the mortgage. So, for example, you would need to show the deed to the home. You would need to show the mortgage document to show how much is owed still on the mortgage. And somehow you would have to show what the value of the house is. Now, you're not going to go spend money to get somebody to come and give a professional estimate of what the house is worth. But probably the easiest thing, what I generally tell people to do, is go to the local county or town where your house is and ask for the tax records for the house. And in the tax records for the house, the local government says what the house is worth, because that's how they tax, or what your apartment is worth. That's how they tax your real estate. So use what the local government says is the tax basis for your home. So for example, let's say the tax basis for your home, I'm making this up, is $500,000, and you have a mortgage and you owe $100,000 on the mortgage left. That means you have an equity in your home of $400,000. You're allowed to use 20% of the equity towards income for the I-864. So that would be equal to in that particular example, it would be $80,000. Rupan Thakador says, hi, Brad. Any updates about 60-day immigration ban, more than 50 days gone? There is no updates. Your guess is as good as mine. What's going to happen? I assume that there will be a ban from certain countries based on coronavirus. I can't imagine that's going to be a ban around the entire world. If it is, expect a lot of litigation. And Trump just lost the last one for DACA. Rupan Thakador also with another question, probably has a group of people watching with him. Hi, Brad. After all the documents are accepted from the National Visa Center, my friend's spouse is waiting for an interview in India. But if the interview is late, then the spouse can visit other countries before the interview? Sure, why not? Let's see. DD says he was in school. That's why he's not working. I'm not sure what DD is referring about. Andrea Green has a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. My sister is in the United States of America, wants to file for me in Jamaica, but I also travel on the H-2B visa. Can I travel to and from the USA on the H-2B while my paperwork is in? You can, except if your sister files for you, it's about a 15-year wait. You've shown an intent to get a green card, and it's unlikely that they would give you an H-2B visa. And if they did, they could always hassle you at the airport. So, take it with a grain of salt. Your sister filing for you, and it's going to be a long time. Maybe just do the H-2B now and see what happens. Saluba, good evening, Brad. Can a conditional green card holder remove notation on a Social Security card not valid for work with DHS authorization? Thank you. Man of all time, yes. You can go back to Social Security and you can say, here is my green card. They'll give you back the same exact card with the same exact number without the notation that valid for work and with DHS authorization. That little emblem on the Social Security comes off once you go from work permit to green card, even a conditional green card. Better Life Records, can child support be used as income on an affidavit support? Absolutely. But then there's another child that you have to support also on the affidavit. Carol, the Top Cat Tigress, it's going to be June 29th, Brad, on Monday. Thank you very much, Carol. Yes, that is when we will be back live in the studio. Maria Joe, hey, Brad, I filed my I-751, and me and my husband are unemployed due to COVID. Does it affect my green card? No, not on an I-751. It would not affect it. Salman Muhammad, do filing mandamus recommended in this pandemic? Will the court accept the mandamus? Court's going to accept the mandamus, but you have to also understand that that they're going to be a lot more forgiving because of what's going on with coronavirus right now. You would have to really show, some extreme violation of your rights on a mandamus, I would think at this point. Let's see what else we have here. Jesus, hey, Brad, hope you're okay. My wife is my petitioner. Okay, I just answered that, Jesus. And Wally Mill, hey, Brad, hi. Me and my wife contacted the senator officer to speak to USCIS on our behalf. Do you think they can help us out? We never violated any law as the I-751 took too long. That's why. Do I think they're going to help you out? No. I think they're going to write a letter. Immigration's going to write a letter back, and your senator's going to say you have to wait. I've never seen a senator get involved and do anything other than just kind of spin wheels. God's got me. USCIS sent back my work permit renewal application package that I didn't pay the fees. I'm under C9 because I still have my I-45 adjustment pending. Interview was canceled due to Corona. What can I do? Pay the fee then. Don't fight them, because if you're going to fight them, you'll never get your work permit back again. Becky, hallelujah. Hi, Uncle Brad. Well done. Anytime I miss your program, I feel incomplete. You too current in every area. Kudos. Thank you very much, Becky. Hallelujah. Let's see what else we have here. Iola. Uncle Brett, can one get a divorce before getting a green card and after the I-45 got denied for affidavit support, but cause application has been put in for reopening? You can't get a divorce if you're basing it on a marriage and you're going to get divorced, you're not going to get your green card. So I think you need to have a consultation with me if your I-45 was denied, you have a motion pending to reopen, which will take for years, and you want to get a divorce from this man that you have a motion pending. So I think you need a consultation. There's a telephone number scrolling on the bottom. I think I would give me a call. Let's see, Lola Unstoppable. How do I pay taxes if I don't have a social security number, but I'm working, my boss is not paying it? You're going to file a 1040 return, and on the 1040 return, you're going to attach as an independent contractor. And on the 1040 return, you're going to attach a W-7 form. And on the W-7 form, that's how you request a taxpayer identification number. And with the taxpayer identification number, you can pay your taxes. So it's going to be a 1040 return as an independent contractor with a W-7 form. Rupan Thakador, 3 questions today. Oh, no, I already answered that question. He's asking twice. Let's see what else we have here. Seema Rahman, me and my husband got scheduled for a 2020 individual interview, court deportation. My husband, but our interview was done in 2017 with USCIS, came to our house to ask questions. Why are they putting the master here? What? I'm going to read exactly what you wrote, Seema Rahman, and you're going to, and how would anybody be able to answer this question? Me and husband get scheduled 2020 individual interview, court deportation. My husband, but our interview done 2017, I-130, I-45 with USCIS. 2 came to our house, asked question, 2019, get well. They put master hearing. Why? What? Oh, I have an idea. Let me go. We have a new machine because I have Facebook to English. We have a YouTube to English translator. And the translator said, your husband was in deportation and you filed an adjustment based on a bona fide marriage exemption to get him a green card before he got deported because he's in a bona fide marriage. And they came to your house and they interviewed you and you believe you passed. Why do you have another hearing? Because the judge got to give him a green card. So I assume he's having another master hearing to get a final decision on the green card. So I assume it's a good thing as long as they came and they determined that you're living together. So good, you're going to get a green card. That's what it sounds like to me. Let's see, AJ with a question. Uncle Brad, is being in a new relationship while the I-751 based on a bona fide marriage waiver is pending a negative effect when going for the interview? No, you're allowed to fall in love, fall out of love, and be back in love again. And all you have to do is prove that for a period of time after you got your conditional green card, you and your spouse lived together, you had a joint economic relationship, you married for love and things didn't work out and you got divorced. And you're allowed to fall in love again. There's no law that says after you get divorced because you have a pending I-751, you're not allowed to have a girlfriend. Absolutely not. Let's see. DD with a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. My husband worked just last year and filed his taxes this year. Prior to that, he hasn't worked before. He has a new job now making $65,000. Do we still need a co-sponsor for an affidavit? If he has a tax return filed for $65,000 for this year, you will not need a co-sponsor. Let's see what else we have here. Elisobek Kudalashav. Hi, I'm on an F2 and wanted to change my status to employer support. I have an employer willing to sponsor, but I had unauthorized work before. Will it impact on my case? We have a U.S. citizen here. I guess the F2 is you're the spouse of a student, person on a student visa. If you worked, if you have unlawful employment, that violates your F2 status and you'll be denied. So if they know that you worked out of status, you're finished. I think you need a consultation. Sally Hagan with a question. My I-45 has been approved and ready to be scheduled for an interview, and I got my worker's permit, but my I-130 still says received. Does it have to be approved before I move forward? No. They're going to approve your I-130 and your I-45 at the same time, which would be at your I-45 interview. Suli Sem Aranda asks a question. Hi, Brad. I had my N400 interview in August 2019, and my I-751 interview was done on a different day. After I had my I-751 approved March 2020, but still now my N400 has not been approved. What could I do? Well, write a follow-up letter to immigration and say, hey, my I-751 was approved, but it was only approved 2 months ago. They're not scheduling new interviews, but I would certainly write a letter and follow up. It was only a couple months ago. Jay Pereira with a question. Hi, Brad. How long does USCIS take to approve a VAWA case? Almost 2 years now. And Sken D with the last question on YouTube. How are you, Uncle Brad? How long before I can file a mandamus for an I-751 here in New York? It's been 20 months. I would wait at least 2 years and wait for the pandemic to go down a little bit. Just hang in there. Let's see what else quickly we have on Facebook. Let's see. Khan Halil. I am a U.S. citizen from Florida. My parents got accepted in I-130. I'm submitting papers for their visa interview. So I guess you file for your parents in I-130. If they come here, got the green card, how long does it take for them to bring my sibling? She is 17 years old. As soon as they come and get the green card, they can turn around and file an I-130 F2A for your sibling. And hopefully it'll take under 2 years, assuming she's under 21. But they got to file for her immediately as soon as they come here. Literally, they can file the day they come here, even if the green card hasn't arrived yet. Let's see, what else? Any last straggling questions? Ceci Leguzaman has a question. I had my adjustment of status interview, and after 2 months, I applied for VAWA. USCIS hasn't taken a decision. My question is, can USCIS deny my case based on the interview, or they have to wait until the VAWA is processed? They can deny it based on the interview if you're inadmissible somehow. Joan, why so negative, though? What happened? Joan Cowell has a question. Hi, Brad. Can you say if immigration starts working back as yet? My sister-in-law filed for us in 2007. NBC sent email to us asking for documents. We did that. So how much longer do we have to wait on them? Well, it's a coronavirus thing. Until the embassy opens up, I'm not sure what country you're in. Let's take a guess. You're in Jamaica, but I don't know for sure. Until the embassy opens up in Kingston, the NBC is not going to process your case. So, when you ask me, when will the embassy open up in Kingston? This baby knows, but we're not going to ask right now. This baby knows, but I don't know. Okay, so I don't know. When the embassy opens up, that's when your case will get processed, unfortunately. And Shoyan Mash has a question. Me and my wife are both U.S. citizens. She's pregnant, so she's applied for Medicaid and food stamps. I'm applying for my parents in Bangladesh. Does her Medicaid affect parents getting visa? No, it will not, because it's for a pregnant wife and unborn children. So that's perfectly fine. And Tia Persaud, Uncle Brad, is a personal injury case going to affect your green card interview? No, it will not. You have every right to bring a personal injury case. And that is everything I see here. Jason Paul with a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. I sent a letter to USCIS to withdraw the I-130 that was under administrative processing. After 9 months, they reaffirmed it. Well, if you withdrew the case, why did they reaffirm it? I'm not sure what happened, Jason. So if they didn't believe that you were in a bona fide marriage and they denied it or gave you a notice of intent to deny and then you proved it was bona fide, then they reaffirm it. That's generally what happens. I'm not sure what you're asking. And Aries Baby, hi, Brad. Any updates on green card hold here in the United States? At least until the month of June, nothing's going to happen. We'll see what happens in July if USCIS is going to open up. And that will be all of the immigration questions I have in my head for the day. What do I have here now? I do want to remind everybody, if you do like our show, to please subscribe on YouTube. If you subscribe on YouTube, you will get notified every time we come on. It's so easy. So please subscribe. I really appreciate it. if you did, and tell your friends and family about our show as well. If you're watching on Facebook, we want you to like and follow this. Now, just a reminder, if you do subscribe on YouTube and you do like and follow us on Facebook, you get to join the Brad Squad. Jilly Bean is on the membership committee. I believe that Jilly Bean is throwing me out of Brad Squad after today's show, but maybe I could beg to stay in. But everybody else is welcome in Brad Squad, and all you got to do is show Jilly Bean that you are a subscriber on YouTube. You like and follow us on Facebook, and you're a decent, cool human being, which I'm sure you are. On Instagram, we do have a contest. It is teal. You have to find the teal Brad, Bouncing Brad. There it is, teal Bouncing Brad. If you find teal, that is the actual post that you have to like, tag 5 friends, and you too can be pulled out of my hat next Wednesday for a free consultation. But you got to find that post on @BradShowLive. If you didn't get your immigration question answered, you can always follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. If you follow me at Real Brad Bernstein, you can drop me a DM, and I will be more than happy to answer your question to the best of my ability. There is a telephone number that is scrolling on the bottom if you want to have a consultation with me. My telephone number is 1-800-529-5465. Internationally, it's 1-212-227-8933. You call that number, and when you get that number, you can ask to be put on my list, and I will give you a call. I work Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week, and I'll give you a call. You get on my list, and we can talk one-on-one. Finally, what else do I have here? Comments of the day. What are our comments of the day? Violet Blackwood, the bestest show in the world. Thank you very much. Tally. Yes, DACA is winning big time. High five, thumbs up. The orange man is not happy. Ha, ha, ha. And Stargirl Miko, who made the new Bouncing Brown Groundhog Sam? Sweet ex-theorist, Uncle Brad has all the answers. Dawn Harriet, anywhere Brad goes, we follow because he leads us into the light. Blush. Thank you very much, Dawn. And finally, as we said, June is, we did not say this, but we are going to say it. June is Immigrant Heritage Month, and it is dedicated to celebrating diversity and immigrants' shared American heritage. In honor of Immigrant Heritage Month, we thought we would sign off by showcasing some of the many immigrant American family stories people have shared with us over the last 2.5 years on our show. Everybody have an enjoyable Thursday evening. Have a happy and safe Juneteenth and a weekend. Spar and Bernstein and the entire crew at Brad Show Live will be off celebrating Juneteenth, and we will see you all on Monday. Thanks for watching.
My mother came from Greece and my father came from Colombia.
I'm Hispanic, I'm Puerto Rican. My grandparents were the first generation to come over here. Yeah. And then, my mother came here with my mother when she was younger.
My parents were born from the South, and I'm pretty sure they migrated over from Africa.
I'm first generation. My parents came here. My mother came when she was 16. She did build herself up. She built a home in her home country, and now I have somewhere to go every summer, and I call it home.
I can still trace back, my family's lineage all the way back to Ireland and that. And, Irish have a lot of spirit in them.
Nigerians are a diverse people. We have so much culture, and everything about us is beautiful.
I'm from Russia, from Moscow. I won the green card lottery. Oh. Yeah, I'm in the United States. And now my life connects with America.
I was born in Brooklyn. My family is from Yemen. Things like this that I'm seeing coming out of the federal administration it's very disheartening. I think for many people, first generation or second generation immigrants, it's definitely very personal for me and so many people in New York City.
She's Puerto Rican, and I have a African American father.
I've been here since I was 2. I'm 75, so I've been here a long time. I was born in Puerto Rico, but I came here when I was 2, but we went right to the Bronx, and then from the Bronx, Manhattan.
My dad is actually from Turkey, but you can trace his origins back to Spain when his ancestors were forced to move to Turkey. For my mom's side, my mom's parents are actually from Chile, and then they had to cross over to Argentina after a coup, and then they moved to Mexico, then after that Puerto Rico, and then finally my mom managed to come to the United States.
I have been in America so for 15 years. I came from southern China. It's from Wuhan. Once I'm here, I love this country and I enjoy the life here. So I started my new life here.
So I came here, when I was 10 years old. We started all the way from the bottom, like I would say collecting bottles from the garbage. That's how we started. I'm a DACA student. I got the visa when I was in school and I still got that, thanks God. And my major thing is just to put a business, open my own business. That's I think what everybody's looking forward.
I was born here, however, my father comes from Puerto Rico and my mom comes from Ecuador.
Nice.
So I was just, pretty much raised here and then from here moved to Florida.
Yeah, born in Jamaica, left when I was 3, came to America. My folks, I tell my wife all the time, they came here with 2 small kids, 30-something years old, and within 10 years they have 2 places. Wow. So that's literally the American dream, to come up with 2 small kids to a foreign country and then within 10 years have 2 places already.
My mother and father, they migrated from Ecuador back in the early 70s. And then, they had the pleasure of having me here, man. So, then I have my kids here. This is the country of the opportunities, man. You know what I mean? Everybody works hard in any country. But over here, you have that opportunity to make things happen. The American dream for me is, having freedom. My son is in the Coast Guard. He fights for all of our freedoms, man. You come here, you work, follow your dreams, and you can make it happen,